Switching topics, I'm now joined on set by the actress Alison Pill, widely known for her role as Maggie Jordan in Aaron Sorkin's brilliant HBO series Newsroom. She also stars in the new movie Zoom, out this weekend, and she attended the Democratic National Convention in Philly as a member of the Creative Coalition delegation. We'll get to the movie soon, but first, this is politicking, and you're supporting Hillary Clinton. A crazy thing here, Alison. A brand new Washington Post ABC News poll shows 56% of Americans have an unfavorable impression of Mrs. Clinton, and 63% have an unfavorable impression of Mr. Trump. That's the worst two ever in America. How do you fathom this?
I can't. I think this entire season has been unfathomable. But I will say, I think there's a great excitement around having a female president. I mean, that I feel. I wasn't prepared really for how much it would mean to watch a daughter introduce a mother and a grandmother at the convention, but it did. It hit me. I'm pregnant with a daughter myself, and just the sort of realization that this has never happened before makes me really excited. And there's a wonderful Malcolm Gladwell podcast that just discussed female leadership around the world, and that there's usually one that's about tokenism, but there's usually one that comes close, and then for the next 100 years you get to sort of say, like, but we tried and it didn't work. And my hope is that this time people realize that there's one person who I think has the wherewithal to be the president this year, and despite any issues of untrustworthiness or dislike, I have to say I'm a Hillary supporter.
I've known her a long time. She has a great sense of humor. She's a lot of fun. She's, of course, very bright. Why, and I know she's had some problems.
Yes.
Why do people hate her?
This is something that I really don't understand, but I also am a nerd, and her wonkishness and kind of discomfort with a lot of the politicking side of things, I understand completely. A lot of the, her line at the convention saying, I'm less into the public side than I am into the work side.
She's a worker.
Yeah. She's much more, do I trust that she will read every policy paper? Yes. But I also think a lot of people hated those kids in school. I was one of them. I know I was hated.
You were a policy wonk?
Well, I just mean like reading.
A nerdo?
I was a nerdo. And
you were the one who got A's?
I won the J.W. Noseworthy History Prize in high school. I think my final marks were it was somewhere in the upper 90s, my GPA by the,
She attended the Democratic National Convention in Philly as a member of the Creative Coalition delegation. What was it like?
It was incredible. It was a really, I'm Canadian by citizenship. I have been a permanent resident of this country for 14 years.
You don't vote?
I don't vote, but I do support political candidates. And I noticed as soon as I found out I was pregnant that I suddenly realized, like, oh my gosh, this is real. We have to fight for future generations in a way that hadn't been, as visceral before, where it became a really big part of my life. And it was so exciting to be there, and so exciting to watch those speakers, and also to meet some amazing Congress people. Meeting Mike Honda and Chris Coons especially, I was so heartened to learn that these are kind, smart people with the best interests of the country at heart. In a way that when we hear about the deadlock of Congress and we hear about the sort of macro of it, you forget about the actual day-to-day people working for these small states and doing the best work they can day to day.
Do you attend for citizenship?
I do, and I think I'll be applying. That's another thing. I'm like, me and my daughter should be citizens of the same country.
Well, she is a citizen.
She will be a citizen, yes, and I feel an obligation to.
What,
as well.
I'll use the word scare. What scares you the most about a Donald Trump presidency?
I find I found this season to be most scary in the level of vitriol against women. It's been really shocking in a way that I've been able to avoid working where I do and sort of with the friends I have and with thoughtful people and a wonderfully feminist husband, that I forget how many people have this hatred, fear of women and their voices in politics. But I mean, listening to his rhetoric about it, listening to him talk about Megyn Kelly, listening to him talk about women should be punished for abortions and then going back on it. I mean, all of these sort of back and forths about women have been really deeply disturbing. And I just don't think we can afford it when so many women are in the workforce and raising children and deserve respect and a political voice that counts them.
We have a guest next Tuesday who's got a film coming called Equal Means Equal. And it's all about women.
I just met Patricia Arquette yesterday, who's
She's in
producer.
that movie.
Yes, and it is. I mean, it's the level of systemic problems is wild when you really get into it.
You think Hillary should hold a news conference? She has not.
I know. I do think she should, but I also, at the same time, she knows her weaknesses. She knows where she's good, and she is somebody who is not maybe great on the fly. But I also think I'm excited to see her debate. I think
That'll go well.
I do.
Well, you nerds are all alike. You know all the facts.
There's a wonderful Times article about her preparation versus Trump's preparation yesterday, and I was really enjoying reading her thoughts. I mean, they're really trying to...
She knows the vice president of Bangladesh.
Right, yes, yes.
Trump and I don't know where it is. No, it's a little south of India. I know where it is. Okay. Tell me, being the political wonk that you are, what was it like to work on Newsroom?
It was very exciting. It was so exciting to be on a show where we discuss the Koch brothers and different news stories. And
Sorkin, a great writer.
Sorkin is such a great writer, and our cast is so... I mean, not only fantastic actors, but really wonderful people as well. Many of whom we're all still in touch. You know.
That's nice.
It really is.
Why did we end it?
It
was doing well.
I know. He felt that he was done.
No,
who can argue with them?
Fine. We're going to show a clip from it, but help me understand, because I watched I saw the trailer.
Yes.
You're in a movie. It opens this weekend. Called Zoom. I know, I see you, I see other people, and I see cartoons.
Yes.
What the hell is it's certainly intriguing.
It's my father says Borges would have loved it. And so there's this kind of meta, I mean, it's beyond meta. I play a comic book artist drawing a comic book about Gael Garcia Bernal.
Oh, about who?
Gael Garcia Bernal, the Mexican actor, who is directing a movie starring a woman who is writing a novel about the comic book artist. So it's sort of Russian doll entwined.
I get it.
Mesh.
Who pitched this?
This is the insane thing. This wonderful young Brazilian director named Pedro Morelli, who wrote and directed it, and said, I have this idea. And wonderfully, the Canadian and Brazilian governments have arts funding to support such insane endeavors.
It's billed as a live-action animation hybrid.
Yes. So there is this sort of, Linklater, like, rotoscoped animation in his storyline. My storyline is almost like a Wes Anderson-style indie comedy. And then there's a kind of Terrence Malick, beautiful Brazilian movie as well, all interspersed. And
when you watch the finished product, you did not see the cartoons, right? What was it like to watch it all together?
It was crazy because it was in the script, but having no idea how it would ever play out. I mean, there's something wonderful about risking everything in this big way.
I'm going to help you, audience. We're going to see a clip. Get ready from Zoom.
What do you want to do?
What do you mean?
You know, which orifice do you want to stuff? Got your choice of 3.
What? I don't care.
I'll do this one.
Okay, and I'll do this one. You might want to just dive right in.
Maybe I should buy her dinner first.
Maybe we should focus.
Be honest with me, Alison. When you got the script, did you say, wow, yes?
I did.
Really?
I did. Because there's also, throughout this kind of absurd element, there's also this really lovely message at the heart of it that is, I mean, for every single storyline, that appearances are silly things to be obsessed with.
Yeah, you're right. Well, you worked with Woody Allen in Midnight in Paris and To Rome with Love.
Yes.
What's it like to work with him? I love both those films.
I had such a wonderful, magical time on both of them, and he is such a light hand in terms of directing, where when the most we spoke about Zelda Fitzgerald, and it was all I really needed, because, you know, you come in, you're doing a Woody Allen movie, I mean, you're going to be prepared. So I'd read the books and done the research and reading A Movable Feast in Paris, going to Shakespeare, you know, all of it. And all he had to say was, so you're playing Crazy Zelda, she's Southern, and she's the life of the party. I was like, yep, well, that pretty much sums it up. What more do you need? But yeah, a delight.
Yeah, great filmmaker.
Really, truly.
The Creative Coalition.
Yes.
What does it do?
Well, it's a lobbying group. We lobby for arts funding, essentially, and for support for different things that affect the industry, so different copyright laws.
Did you affect the agenda of the convention?
I doubt it. But we were there to meet people and say that the National Endowment of the Arts deserves money. And it's such a tiny budget that does so much to preserve the artistic and cultural history of this country that I think is worthwhile. You know, art forms that are dying out in, you know, Appalachia, and like just all these wonderful.
Why art is such an essential part of a country?
Why? I mean, it's one of our greatest exports, and a really huge industry, and that's beside the point of keeping children in school, and the effect that arts programming has to do that. There's a wonderful organization called Story Pirates, where they act out children's stories, and some of them are from grade 1 kids, and so they have these amazingly simple stories. These are the first words that kids have put to paper, and these adults act them out for them in these wonderful musical extravaganzas. And they go to these schools where attendance is terrible, and there's a lot of ESL, there's a lot of, you know, free lunches. And the principals all say, like, on the days when this happens, their attendance is almost 100%. And it's this value of communal storytelling, of being able to affect change through, you know, expressing yourself, that I think is so, so, so important, and should be valued as a way to increase education.
So you are with child, as they say. That
Yes.
means you probably don't have a film coming, right?
No, well, we have a wonderful movie coming out. There's a movie called Miss Sloane starring Jessica Chastain that's about the gun lobby that'll be coming out in December.
And who do you play?
I play another lobbyist at a rival firm. Yeah, so that'll be another, I don't mean to be political, but I sort of can't avoid it because I'm most interested in things that are.
Alison, you're a delight.
Thank you.
You don't have a name yet for the baby.
Not yet.
I suggest Shadow.
Right, I love it.
Zoom is out this weekend. Call me if you understand it. I can't wait to see it. I love movies like this.